Time spent is not the same as energy spent.
Hey squirrels, welcome to ADHD, where ADHD isn't some clinical diagnosis, it's just life. I'm AV, your always honest tour guide through this beautiful mess. Over here, we're not about fixing yourself. We're about figuring out how to actually enjoy your life as you are. So grab a snack and let's go.
Hey squirrels! Today's episode is called Design Your Delivery Around Your Nervous System. And what that means is do shit the way that you want to do it. We are talking about the D in products, which is delivery design, and why this one decision can make or break your sustainability. So let's get into it. But before we get into it, I'm sorry. I know I just said let's get into it. But before we do that, I'm going to call you back to the CALM framework. Let's go back to something foundational. Calm, clarity, awareness, limits, momentum. Yes, people love talking about clarity and awareness, but they hate talking about limits and momentum. Here is the truth. The limits and momentum are the business strategies, not personality flaws, not weaknesses. They are strategies. Okay. The clarity and awareness is really important, but the limits and the momentum, that's where the real work happens. If you're neurodivergent, if you are parenting, if your nervous system runs hot, if you simply are just not looking forward to burning out for the 14th time in a row, your delivery model must respect the way your body and your brain actually function. Okay? Like y'all, it's just logic at this point. If you don't want the bad thing to happen, you have to do the good stuff. If you don't want to have, weak muscles, then you need to build your muscles. And if you don't want to have a stomach ache, then you need to not eat 100 chocolate chip cookies. Okay? And if you want yourself to feel good in your business, then you need to stop fighting that. Your capacity is not a moral issue. It is math. It is data. It's just design. Like, it just is what it is, okay? And when you stop fighting that, everything inside your business becomes easier to scale. So, let's stop fighting. Let's just stop it. It's enough. It's dumb. So, let's agree to stop. Yes? Good? Okay, cool. Now that we agreed on that, and we know that we are working on our limits and our momentum, let's talk about the 4 delivery archetypes. There are 4 delivery archetypes. And when we talk about a delivery archetype, it means the way that you deliver best for yourself. And I want everyone listening to pick the one that works on your worst energetic week, right? Not a superhuman week, but one that really takes into consideration that things are going wrong around you. So the first one is Async. This is great for low simulation nervous systems. This is great for deep thinkers. This is great for anybody who needs recovery time in between cognitive sprints. Okay, there's no forced smiling, there's no masking, there's no performance pressure. This is for people who want to work without anyone looking at me. And it's best for thinkers, for processors, and for people who do their best work without performance pressure. The way that what this looks like essentially is WhatsApp updates, Loom feedback, Google Doc reviews, Notion updates, just anything that gives you space, autonomy, flexible timing. I want to do things the way I want to do them. Okay. The second delivery archetype is Cohort. This relies on predictable energy rhythm, on set times, on shared momentum. This is really perfect for people who feed off of collective energy, but they need a container surrounding it. So this is for people who want to work together in groups, in live calls, in a collective rhythm. So if you need that type of collective momentum to stay consistent, or if you are a really good facilitator, then this gives you both structure and community, which are 2 things that you're really seeking. The third delivery archetype is a studio day. This is one of my personal favorites, especially for ADHDers, is you give me 1 day of high focus, I'll give you magic, right? But don't ask me for little drips of things every day. That drains me faster than 6 hours. Okay, so a studio day is essentially batching everything all at once. 1 day, deep work, super high output, and you step into the container, you step into what you're doing, you deliver the whole transformation, and then you step back out. So if context switching is really difficult for you, then studio days might work really well because batching prevents performance fatigue and highlights your best energy. The fourth delivery archetype is some sort of hybrid of any of them, right? A tether without suffocation, some live, some async. Structure with choice is very neurodivergent friendly. And hybrid works really beautifully for beginners who aren't really ready for full async delivery yet. They still need flexibility and recovery time built in. It's any sort of blend of the above. And then, of course, we need to remember that we are picking for our worst week, okay? Not for magical thinking. And I know that that's hard for us, but we need to build the containers around us that are actually going to set us up for success. And the way to do that is by planning for worse and hoping for the best. All right. And here's where people get messed up. So let's talk about energy math. Okay. You pick the delivery based on the visible time, but not the extraction cost. Okay. And that's why we use the time equation. Time is the T is for time, obviously. Actual hours per client. Okay. The I is input, the emotional, the cognitive, the sensory load. Like, how much do I have to put into this thing? The M is money, the revenue relative to the effort. Okay. How much work am I putting in? How much dollars am I getting out? And the E is extraction. How much recovery time do you need afterwards? All right. So that's, most people only measure the execution. They only measure the actual hours that you're working, but your nervous system pays for all four of those. If a client only uses 3 hours, but costs you 7 hours of recovery time, he's actually a 10-hour client. And that's why you burn out without understanding why. That's why the money that you're charging doesn't feel worth it, because when you put all the math in, it actually isn't worth it. The recovery after the work is often bigger than the work itself. Time spent is not the same as energy spent. Okay? And underestimating how much time recovery requires leads you to be resentful, burnt out, feeling overcommitted because you're calculating wrong. So to design your delivery, you need to map how many hours the client requires, how much energy it costs, actual time and energy, how much time it takes you to recover, and what's the revenue return on those hours. When you map that out honestly, then the right delivery model becomes super obvious. You'll see exactly where you're undercharging, you'll see exactly where you're over-delivering, and you'll see exactly where you're sabotaging your own capacity. Because again, sustainability is math, it's not morality. If meetings drain you, then the meeting isn't the thing that drains you, it's the recovery from having to co-regulate the whole time you're in the meeting. So then try and limit that to the best of your ability to increase your sustainability. It's just math, input, output. Okay. So how do we do that? Because we're going to need to set some boundaries without guilt. And let's talk about boundaries. Let's talk about implementation. There are implementation boundaries that change everything. And I'm going to give you a bunch of them. Okay. The 72-hour SLA is a set expectation for communication. You reply within 72 business hours. You do not reply instantly. Sorry. If you want somebody who's going to reply instantly, please write to anyone else on my team, because they have a 24-hour SLA, but mine is 72 hours. And you need to expect that when you're communicating with me, that's what you're going to get. I reply within 72 business hours, and you can do the same. This protects your focus, it reduces pressure, and it keeps delivery consistent. As long as you have communicated that is the communication expectation, you'll be fine. If you told people that you reply within 24 hours and then you don't reply for 72, you look like trash. It's the same 72 hours, but the communication surrounding the expectation is different. Buffer days, all right? These are boundaries that we build in without the guilt. Build in days with no calls, no meetings, no client-facing work. That's used for recovery. It's used for admin. It's used for creativity. It's used for getting a goddamn massage. It's used for going to get a haircut. It's used for taking a walk. It's used for doing whatever you need to do to let your nervous system reset, because this entire business is on your back and you need 1 day a week. That is a buffer day, at least one. Build in as many days as you require, okay? The third boundary that you can build without guilt is our sensory-friendly work setups. Adjustments that reduce sensory overload while you're working. You can soften the lighting. You can have noise-canceling headphones, weighted blankets. Clean your desk, y'all. If you saw the back end, I mean, you can. I recorded it for you of what my desk looks like today. And honestly, it's like making me feel more frazzled. I didn't have to set myself up for failure that way. You can have a lower stimulation environment that helps you stay regulated during delivery. Clean access windows, okay? Y'all, designated times when clients can reach you or expect a response. Client communication is open Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. If you have a problem that you want to brainstorm with me, I have a client drop-in, session, like office hours. It prevents you from being reachable all day, every day. That's not the expectation. They didn't pay for access to you all day, every day. And similarly, you can have no delivery days, days that are reserved for zero client delivery. No edits, no reviews, no voice notes, no calls, no emails, no whatever. These keep you from slipping into burnout, and they create predictable weekly rhythms that you can rely on. And then, y'all, hard stop times, please, for the love of God. A non-negotiable time when work ends. This protects your energy, your evenings, your recovery, especially for neurodivergent nervous systems that struggle to self-stop. Put a hard stop time in your calendar. These aren't rules. These are support options for your nervous system. And they create consistency, they reduce pressure, and they help you show up at your full capacity. Every boundary that you choose is a business system. It's not a personality flaw. And you're allowed to build things that work for you, okay? Boundaries land best when they're framed as structure and not as restriction. It's simply an expectation that was written down. And the boundaries that you set for yourself, people can adhere to them or not adhere to them. That's entirely up to them. And then if they don't adhere to them, you don't interact with them. It's literally all it is. If you communicate early and clearly, then there's nothing to fight about. So let's round this conversation with a little question, okay? Homework time. Here's a question I want you to sit with. What do you need? What does your nervous system need? What do you need that your business is not currently honoring? Because delivery is not just an operational decision. It's a self-awareness practice. You are your product. So when you understand your energy patterns, everything else becomes easier to build. And the more you fight against them, then the harder it is to build. That's also just literal math. It's just input-output. There is no emotion in here. If you can't deliver on it in the way that you've set up for yourself, then it's bad. The easiest place to start is by giving yourself one predictable boundary. Okay, to give yourself just a window that you know that you're off. When your brain switches off, it's off. For me, at night, when I'm done, I'm done. Like, that's it. And I don't check anything or do anything until the next day because my brain needs to know that I don't have to be thinking right now. I can be a big dummy. It's okay. And I genuinely I'm less smart during those hours of the day because my brain is just like, la, 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 not paying attention to stuff. Like, even when I'm watching a movie or something like that, it's a little harder to follow because I'm a bit extra dumb. But that's great. It's exactly what my brain needs so that I can be back on the next day. Okay? So what do you need? If you are listening to this and thinking, I need this right now. Okay, y'all. If you're thinking, I have no idea which delivery model my nervous system actually needs, I'm going to need you to grab the Offer Spark Sprint, okay? You will get the delivery decision tree to figure out what you need. You will get the capacity math worksheet to figure out how much it's actually costing you. You will get the time mapping tool, and you will get templates for SLAs, for buffer days, for sensory-friendly delivery setups. You'll literally get everything, okay? So your delivery model should protect your energy, not drain it. If it drains it, then you're in trouble. If your business is built on adrenaline and obligation and overfunctioning, then delivery design is the way out. When you build from your nervous system up, meaning from who you are up, instead of your expectations down, your business stops being a performative lie and finally becomes a life that you can sustain. Your nervous system is your operating system. The sooner you stop fighting that, and the sooner you design around it, everything changes. So do me a favor. What do you need to grab? The Offer Spark Sprint. Yes, exactly. Until next time, squirrels, you are worth designing something that works for you. And I will see you next time. Bye.